I get excited. I'm like, oh yes, okay, and that keeps me going, knowing that I don't have to wait 3 days to hear back from you really helps a lot. It helps with the momentum, because I don't always get the opportunity to jump on and do the work, but when I'm on it and I'm like in the zone, I love that, within 24 hours or less, you responded to me. Sometimes you responded to me within 2-3 hours, which is remarkable. I'm like, thank you. And it helps me to keep going while I still have the time to focus on the work, which has been great so far. So I would definitely recommend it to anyone. As a matter of fact, if I meet anyone that's in my position where I'm at right now and they need to, I'm definitely going to bring them your way, because so far it's definitely been worth the investment, and I'm really happy so far.
For me, I'm accomplishing my goals because there's detailed process, step-by-step process in your program as to what to achieve each week. And then we have a call each Friday to go over what we have accomplished and if we have any differences and any issues. So for me, I love it because it's a step-by-step process. You hold our hands through the beginning to the end, and it's made me see, all the things that I needed to get done, and I'm getting them done because there is accountability to getting them done and staying on track. So I do love that about the program.
I would say that if you want to grow your business, even if you're not sure what you want to do, this is a great program to be able to figure out what your niche is, or just to learn more about how to market your business. There's also the camaraderie, the support that you get. You're not alone. You're only alone if you choose to be. But the support and the help, whether it's with you, Sunday, or with someone else that's in the group, it's a great opportunity to learn, build, and explore and expand.
So the program overall was great. The initial start of the program was kind of crazy because I didn't know what I was getting into. I really didn't understand what we were going to do. I thought we were going to kind of just talk about travel, how we were going to, call people and say, hey, book a trip with me, or send out some mail to people, not email, but mail. So once I kind of caught the groove of the classes and the trainings and working through that process of it, it became like real easy, real simple.
Okay, so permission to be raw, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I said, number one, she looks like me,
Awesome. That's exactly what I want to hear.
And it's good. I'm not biased or anything, but it was just the fact that it's hard to find someone to relate to you who knows. I've been told, don't post your picture and on your business in case there's someone who's not of your race and they won't book with you. And I'm like, well, how are they going to know who I am, right? So when I saw you, I was like, yeah, I'm going to go with her. And then I like that you were raw. You didn't beat around the bush. You just said what you had to say. I heard about the bees in your head, and I'm like, who is she talking to? So I just liked it. I love the real you and how you let it be known. If you don't like it, then you might have to go somewhere else. And that's the kind of business that I want. I don't want to have to be a different person just so I can make money. So that was one of the main reasons.
Happy Monday. How are you guys doing today? So I am a little late, but so we've got a lot of stuff going on already at the beginning of the new year. How about you guys? How is your day? Let me know in the comments what you are drinking and how you are starting off your week. How has it been so far? How are you guys doing? So I am drinking, in my travel is my passion cup. I am drinking agua, water, and and it's not spiked. It's kind of boring. So I don't know if many of you guys know. So at the end of last year, I don't know if I already had a herniated disc or, but anyway, I had a major episode with my back, and so I'm still heavily medicated. So I am not allowed to drink anything spirited, which has really been very painful because, as some of you may know, I'm married to a Jamaican, and my Jamaican husband does not care that I'm heavily medicated. He enjoys a glass of wine every single night, and I'm just so jelly. So I'm drinking boring water. Grand Blanc. All right. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, so my drinks are not as strong as they used to be. So many of you guys know that I enjoy a really good cocktail. I believe it's happy hour somewhere, everywhere, and we all should be partaking in it. So, all right. So, tell me how your day's gone. Like, how's it gone? I'm not going to keep you here long. This has been a really great topic. Like, I've been was super excited to get the results of the poll that I did in December. I did a poll inside of the community and asked if you guys would be interested in learning more about service income. And like I said, an overwhelming number of people was like, yes, 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 yes. And I was just in another group today. I think the post happened today, and somebody asked, like, do you charge service revenue? And I started to reply, and I was like, no, Sunday, it's not your group. Like, it's none of your business. And I started to reply, like, to all these people. And I was like, you can't, like, you've got so much to do. Like, you can't get sucked in. Because this is, like, my personal, like, mantra. Like, so many of us travel professionals, they're, started off and still many of you all are, you're charging a service fee, but it may be $25. Somebody told you, like, I don't understand where the $25 came from, but it's a popular number, $25 and $50 for service revenue. And so we're going to unpack that tonight. Like, are you guys excited? Let me know in the comments. But before we go or dive into that, what I want to know is, like, where are you guys in your travel businesses? So I'd like you to type in the comments if you are in startup, if you're in your first year, maybe you're in pre-launch, you haven't launched your business, or you are like, you've been launched and you're ready to go and you are in growth mode. Like, you've had some sales, you're good to go, and you're just trying to grow this bad boy. Let me know in comments where you are in your business. Startup, pre-launch, and pre-launch means you haven't launched yet. Maybe you've been recruited and you haven't, like, flipped the switch on a host agency, or maybe you're thinking about it. Somebody told you about it, but you haven't officially launched. Like, and then launches that you've actually, like, pulled the trigger and you launched the business, but you maybe are not getting any sales. What phase of the business are you in? What phase? Because really, I'm going to tailor this conversation based on where the most of you guys are at. Because, what I will tell you is, if you are new to the business, your comfort and your confidence is pretty low. And some of these services, or because I'm actually going to talk about 3, some of these may not feel comfortable for you to do because you're a newbie, right? But if you have already been in the business for a while, you may be comfortable with service type number 3 or number 2 more so. So I'd like to get a feel for the audience, like where you are in your travel business and all of that, so I can know who I'm talking to. All right, so we've got somebody who's been in the business for 5 years. So you are, I assume you're in growth mode. You didn't say if you were in growth, you just told me the length of time. So are you in growth mode? Have you had some sales? You just want repeatability? You know what you're doing and you're ready to scale this baby? Is that growth? Or you've been in business for a while, but you're not seeing the kind of success, and since you're doing it part-time It's not that big of a deal. Let me know in the comments where you are. All right. And then if you watch this in the replay, I would love for you to push hashtag replay so I know that you joined me. Then you joined me later. And let's get started. All right. So got a couple of questions. So for those who are in the audience, let me know, like, are you currently charging a service fee? And if so, how much are you charging? So I'm going to get a little bit in your business today. Like, how much are you charging? What's the number? Like, are you charging the dreaded $25.50? Are you charging higher than $200, $100? Like, I even want to know if you guys are charging greater than $100. So the person who answered, I think it was Jane in comments, like, are you charging a fee? And if so, what's your rate? Like, what is your, because most people, when I say service fee, assume I mean the fee associated with doing quotes. Like, what's your number? Sales, yes, it depends on how much research I have to do. All right, so you do it based on research. So what's your average price? Like, what's the average starting rate that you charge? So be interesting to know. Like, I'd like to know what you guys are, what you're feeling out there. So let me tell you kind of what I have heard out there on the internet streets. I said that earlier today. And I was talking to one of our student classes, and I was like, yes, on the internet streets. And I'm like, I don't know that anybody even says that anymore, internet streets. But this is what I've heard from you peeps, right? In interviewing or conversation is that, you know, the number one reason why people don't charge a fee is because they, one, don't feel like they will, that they have enough knowledge. They don't feel like they are, you know, that like they're just starting new in the business. Like, why would someone pay them? They fear that someone won't pay them a fee. Because there are other people who are giving away their services, so they don't want to stand out as the fee charger, right? And these are all valid emotions. These are all valid feelings. But like, you know, so somebody put in comments that they charge $40. And so, like I said, you know, when I do hear people tell me that they charge fees, they tell me they charge anywhere from $25 to $50. And some people even tell me that they charge the fee as an incentive to do the booking, and they refund the fee back. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with, so last week I talked to you guys about the 5 steps required to like start to confidently charge your fees and what it's necessary like to do this confidently. And the first one was having a success mindset. And so let me tell you this. A couple of years ago, I was interviewing a commercial agent. So he sells insurance to travel professionals. He sells insurance. And one of the comments that he said to me was, it does not matter if you charge a fee or not. You're still liable for the experiences that you curate and you send people on. And so that may or may not like click with you as to what that means, but literally what it means is that you can still be sued for sending somebody on a trip and then breaking their leg. You may still be sued because you omitted the fact that they could, get sick on a trip, right? Like, I mean, we're in the middle of a pandemic, and the reality is, as a travel professional, you do need to let people know that there is some chance that they may get sick on the trip, right? And you need to reveal that. So his point in the training that he did was, just because you don't charge as a professional doesn't mean that you're not liable as a professional. Does that make sense? Right? So I want that to sort of sit with you, because you are a professional in the eyes of the law. Right? And so when I think of that, when I heard that, I was like, what? Like, in the eyes of the law, I'm a professional, right? So regardless if you're confident or not about being a professional, the minute you recommend something to someone and they pay for it, you're liable, and there's some liability there as liability with doctors, right? They recommend a cure, they recommend medicine, and they still can be sued, and they still, you're a professional, right? So when I think of that, I'm like that was a little bit of a hard pill to swallow. Like, so in the comments, let me know. Is that like, do you think of yourself as a professional? Like, I know we say we're professionals, but do you think of yourself as a like a person that should be paid, and not only paid well for the recommendations that you give? Or do you feel like that, oh, well, nobody else is charging, I shouldn't charge like high rates for my services? Like, let me know in the comments. Let me know, are you in the camp that says, well, nobody else is charging high, so I shouldn't charge high? Or are you in the camp that's like, when I say that you're liable as a professional, you're like, that's all I needed to hear, I'm up in my rates? Like, tell me if you're a 1 or a 0. 1 is I'm up in my rates just by what I've said so far. Or are you a 0, like you're on the fence, I don't know that I can do this? Like, where are we, like, in the camp out there? Tell me 1 or 0. 1 is, Sunday, that's all I needed, I'm ready to go. Or 0 is, yeah, I hear you, but like, nobody's gonna pay me for my recommendations. Like, nobody's gonna pay me for that. Like, where are we, like, ladies? Let me know. So we're getting a lot of 1s. All right. So if you think that you should be paid, right? So somebody says the same thing that, most people tell me about their newbiness, is that they're new and I don't feel confident to do that. Just because you don't feel confident doesn't make you less liable, right? You are, the minute you give a recommendation to somebody, you are liable as any other professional, right? So it's up to you to get comfortable. Let me say that again. It's up to you to get comfortable. It's up to you to get beyond the fear that you have. Now, let me say to you what professional means, right? And I equate myself to a doctor, like I do, right? Like, I don't like people wasting my time, right? You go to a doctor's office. I don't know if the guy just got out of medical school. I don't know if he's been a doctor for 20 years. I do some due diligence, and I, make sure that he's not like, I don't even do that. Like, truthfully, I don't even do that kind of due diligence. Like, when I go to the doctor, I pick the nearest guy next to me and I check to see if he's like an internal medicine or not. Like, I've got this little criteria, but I don't go checking his credentials. Like, are you checking doctor's credentials? Maybe I should. Like, I don't know. Like, for the surgeon, I'm checking credentials, right? Because it's like a specialized thing. But I'm not even really, like, I'm looking for recommendations. Like, I'm looking, again, for ease of use, right? I'm looking for a very specific procedure. So I am looking for some specialty. But you know what? Like, this also sort of lends me to the conversation, which is, because I'm microscopically looking for somebody to specialize in a thing that I need fixed, right? I am willing to go further for that expertise, right? So I'm going to have to travel an hour to go see this one doctor that was referred to me that does like this, like, microscopically different type of back surgery, right? So I'm going to travel an hour out of my way. It's probably going to cost me a lot more money out of pocket, right? And that's because he has specialized in this one particular type of surgery, right? Same thing for you. You can command more money if you position yourself as an expertise. Like, this wasn't even what I wanted to talk about, but it sort of lends itself to this, right? Which is, you're charging so sort of the going rate, which is this $25, $50. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to be flippant around the $25, $50 rate. But what I'm trying to suggest is that you're worth more. The amount of time and effort that you spend to learn about your specialty, if you do specialize, which I recommend that you do if you specialize, the time and effort that it takes for you to become an expert in that thing warrants you charging for your fee, right? The amount of effort it takes for you to keep your clients covered warrants you charging a fee. So I'm going to get off my soapbox because I'm not really talking today about the reasons why you need to charge a fee. I'm talking about the fees that you need to have in your travel business so that you can hit $1,000. You can hit, $100K in revenue in your business, right? By positioning yourself as the go-to person for fill in the blank when it comes to specialization. Are you guys ready? So before I go and just jump into that, I need to introduce myself. But before I do that, my back is hurting. I've got a bit of a cramp, so I'm going to take this party upwards and onwards. So give me a second and let me raise my desk. I've got this new cool standing desk, and it allows me to raise my desk. So hopefully everybody can still see me and I'm still connected to the internet. Let me know in the comments if I'm still connected. All right, yes, so I'm gonna do this standing up. I don't think I've ever done one standing up, but this is part of this back issue that I've got to recognize, is that I can't sit down for too long. Anybody else have back issues? Like I'm sort of new to this, I'm not gonna lie. So like I get this twinge every now and then. So hopefully I get this addressed soon. All right, so before I jump into it, let me introduce myself. My name is Sunday Gardner, the online travel boss, and I come to you with free training weekly, talking about all things launching, marketing, and operating a profitable travel business. And like I mentioned, we had so many people reply to our poll last year, actually, we can say that now, last year, and they said that they wanted to learn about service revenue, different types of service revenue that they could do. So I came up with 3 different services that you can charge for in your travel business, and frankly, services that you should have in your travel business based on where you are in your business. And so my first question was asking you guys where you are in the business. Are you in the middle? Like, are you in the beginning, the middle, or the end, right? Or I don't mean the end of your business, but are you like newbie, pre-launched, or growth mode? And so many of you all are like, I think the majority of the people, I think only one or 2 people answered. But I'm going to give you kind of, depending on which phase of your business you're in, services that you should have in each of those phases. Is that fair? Like, because the types of services, those will become more seasoned as you become more confident and as you start to grow your business. So let's talk about newbie services. So newbie services that you should consider in your travel business are categorized as this. Now, and really, it doesn't matter where you are in your business. These are the different types of services that you can have in your travel business. You can have pre-booking services, right? So that's before somebody actually decides to book with you and you become their travel agent on record for that particular trip. That's pre-booking. Then you have post-booking services, which are services that you charge for managing the booking or after the person has booked. Does that make sense? So you could have pre-booking services, you could have booking, post-booking services, and then you can also have on-trip services, right? So the person is in Aruba, right? Do you provide services while they're in Aruba to help them have a better experience in Aruba, right? So that would be during trip. That's what I call during trip. And then sort of ongoing services. You have 4 different service types. Many newbies will just focus on, like, if you've heard of services, you're really focused on the pre-booking services, right? And what I will tell you as a newbie, you should have services in all of those 3 areas. At least a pre-booking service, you should have a post-booking service that you charge for, and an on-trip service. Now, those can be simple. They don't have to be complicated, high-touch services. but you should have services defined in each of those areas. So let's talk about each one of those. So a pre-booking service that you should have in your travel business is to do work. So before you do any work with somebody, you actually charge them for the work that you're about to do. So let's say somebody wants to go to Aruba and they say, hey, Patty, I want to go to Aruba. You charge them a fee to look up the Aruba trip. Does that make sense? So that would be a pre-booking service. Now, many of you guys are already doing that. That's what you're charging $25 and $40 and $50 for. But that service, right, should be greater than that. Why should it be greater than that? Because if I'm selling Aruba, I am going to know who my audience is, and I'm going to know Aruba uniquely as it relates to that audience. Does that make sense? So let me give you an example of that, right? Let's say Aruba, I don't know why Aruba's on my mind today, but it is. So I sell Aruba, and let's say I work with retired seniors, retired military, right? Right. So I am going to know uniquely about Aruba as it relates to retired seniors, and as it relates to the special concerns that they have, right? So what do retired people need, right? What kind of things would they be interested in because they're retired, right? They've got more time, they've got more money, right? So I am going to position myself as the expert of dealing with retired military individuals and Aruba, Caribbean, or whatever destination I decide to specialize in. Does that make sense? So when somebody comes to me and they say, hey, you lady over there, right? I heard you're the expert, right? Because that's how they would come to me. They wouldn't, maybe somebody recommended them to me, but they would have recommended me in that context. So I would be the go-to person for retired military and Aruba. Does that make sense? So I'm going to charge $200 for my service. Now, you may say, oh, I'm a newbie. I don't know anything about Aruba. I don't know anything about retired people. Whose job is it but yours, right? But to learn about Aruba or whatever destination it is, and also your audience, right? It's your responsibility to do that. So if you want to charge a higher fee, then get an expertise in that thing that you want to charge a higher fee in, which is your pre-booking services. So why would someone pay you $200? What do they get for that? What's the benefit of that, right? You confidently can do that if you structure an offer around your pre-booking service that makes sense, right? Let me know in the comments. Give me some hearts, love, or even frown faces if it's not clicking with you, but let me know. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Right? So your pre-booking service, my recommendation is nothing less than $200, but you can't just go on the internet street, start charging $200 and you've not positioned yourself as the expert. How do you do that? Well, you pick a specialty and you dive deep in that. Who are the choice vendors? What is the location? Who are the people? What do the people need? What do they like? What's important to them, right? What do they need on their trip differently than maybe somebody who is not your audience, right? So like, what is unique about that particular type of audience, right? That's number one. Number two type of service for a newbie, right? So even if you're a newbie, I want you charging pre-booking at $200 based on your specialty, not only your specialty knowledge of a particular destination, but your specialty around a particular audience, right? Number two service that you should be charging in your travel business for a newbie is post-booking, right? You should have fees associated with maintaining the record. And so what I mean by that is somebody books with you, they need to change their address after they've signed the contract, you should charge for that, right? Somebody you've got, I mean, and that's a common thing, right? They call themselves Sunny, like my nickname. Please don't call me Sunny. I thought of the nickname when I was doing hair, and I was like, I need a nickname. So I came up with Sunny. And then the minute I came up with it, I was like, why are people calling me Sunny? Like, I don't like that, right? So I hated the nickname. So anyway, But that's not what my passport said, right? So my passport says Sunday, right? So when I fill in everything, it says Sunday. So people omit that, and you need to charge for that omission, particularly if you've given them opportunity to review, and they reviewed and they signed off on it. Does that make sense? So management of the record, you should have fees for that. Right now, what you should charge for each of those fees, my recommendation is make a list of the different types of changes that could occur on the record, a cancellation fee, right? So these to me are management fees for your travel business, right? So any changes to the record post booking will incur a fee after you've signed, right? So that would be changing the name, adding a person, canceling, right? And insurance or not, like there needs to be some fee that you define. So a post booking set of fees. And here's an option is that you just have one management fee. You can roll that into the price of your trip, and that's already included, and then you don't charge them anything, but you've at least accounted for that. Does that make sense? Let me know in comments if number 2 service type makes sense. All right, number 3 service type for newbies that you should have is a on-trip service. So what does that look like? What is that? What do you mean on-trip, right? So they're in Aruba, and you could offer a upgraded service fee that would allow them to, let's say, have you on call to make any last minute changes to their itinerary or to create specialized itinerary. Let's say you could then create a fee. Many of you guys tell me you want to be luxury travel providers, but you don't have luxury services, right? And so a on-trip service fee would be that you will create a customized itinerary or change your customized itinerary while you're there. You'll make booking reservations for dinner, right? You will curate, let's say their trip, they're out on, let's say they're out to dinner, and they maybe they are on location. Let's say, I don't know anything about Aruba City. So let's say I'm in Jamaica and I decide to go to Ochos Rios, and that was different than what we had talked about, but I don't know the best place to go to dinner. So I send you a text, right? And on booking, like a fee would be for you to like find them the best location in the city that they're in now, right? Does that make sense? So they're on trip, and they pay for this in advance to have you available to do this, but that's on trip service. Does it make sense? All right. So in the comments, thank you so much, Shelly. In the comments, let me know. So those are 3 services that you can offer in your travel business. Now, if you are in growth mode, you've been doing this a while, let me throw out 3 services for you. So newbies, you should have those 3 services. You should have a pre-booking service fee. You should have a post-booking for changes. And then you should have services that you've thought about to charge clients while they're on trip, right? And these would really be itinerary, particularly since you are you're specializing in your destination and your audience. You should know the types of things that your client may or may not be interested in. So whatever you curate as their itinerary for the trip, you may say as a part of their booking is like, if you would like to upgrade for an additional $200, I could be on call during your trip, and I could book any customized accommodations that you may have. So you could have like a concierge service. That's actually referred to as a concierge service. All right. So hopefully that one makes sense. All right. Now, hey, Sunday, I don't need none of that. I'm already charging $200. I'm already comfortable with charging what I need to charge. I don't need to do any of these newbie types of things. I already got all that. I already got like terms and conditions. I already have management fees. Like, I'm cool with that. Like, come with something better than that, right? So let's talk about it. If you're in growth mode, you've already got all these sort of foundational services accounted for. Here are 3 ideas for services that you should be charging in your business. So if you already have a pre-booking fee and it's already the type of fee that's going to attract the right client, because frankly, $25, $40 does not repel tire kickers. It used to repel tire kickers, but not really. Not like the tire kickers that have gotten wind of the fact that we charge $25. Does that make sense? Like, the reality is, and I again don't want to be sounding flip around this, the reality is McDonald's for two people costs $25, right? $25 is not as much of a repellent as we think. So if you truly want to repel somebody who's not interested in your services, up your price. $200 is a good threshold to start with. I really like you to be more at the $250, $300 mark. But let's start with $150, $200 to get your comfort level. Say that out loud several times. Get comfortable with saying it, right? But if you are a person who's been selling, you're comfortable at the price point that you're at, maybe you're going to raise it and you're ready for growth mode, here's what you need to be doing really to attract those high ticket. You need to create some sort of concierge pre-booking service, right? So let's talk about like some sort of recurring membership service, right? So for people, I don't recommend you come out the gate like you don't know your niche, you don't know the audience yet. I wouldn't recommend you coming out the gate. This is really an advanced tip for people who are in advanced mode. So if you are already making sales, you're confident about your niche, you're confident about your audience, then I would recommend that you have a concierge service or some sort of membership service that you have your clients buy into that will keep them covered for, let's say, 6 months to a year. And so that would be an ongoing service that you would provide, and you would up that price. You should be anywhere from $997, $1,000 to $2,000, depending on your client base, could go up even higher. And that would mean this type of service, they could potentially have access to you all year long to book their trips, right? You can include a certain number of trips included in that service, that sort of membership concierge service, where they can have you available. So that's also referred to as a retainer service, right? So if you are in growth mode, you should be looking for opportunities to rinse and repeat and scale. And scale just simply means grow at a rapid pace. And so having that type of service will allow you to do that. So this one would be a retainer type service, right? They pay you a flat rate. They get access to you for a certain period, a predefined period, maybe a certain number of trips, however you want to define that. That would be a retainer-based service. Then the last service that I will give you, so this is actually 5 different services that I'm giving you tonight. The last service type that I would recommend for people who are advanced senior is having some sort of recurring membership type of service where people will pay you a monthly retainer to utilize your services, right? And so that's really when you are really crystal clear about who your audience is, you've made some sales, you are rolling along, and you're looking for additional ways to increase your revenue, your service revenue, you would do some of these advanced techniques. All right, so let me know in the comments how these click with you. How do you guys feel about that? Let me know. I'm going to pause and let me know. I'm going to stop rocking because I'm trying to, like the old lady saying, I'm trying to rock my pain away. Let me know because I am going to actually wrap it up and go take some medicine, some pain medicine. Are these some services that you would like to try in your business? Let me know in the comments. And while you're letting me know in the comments, are you registered for a webinar next week where we're going to dive in deeper around services and bookings and ensure that you've got a plan and an action plan to get to that 106-figure K mark? How are you guys doing with that? Are you guys already registered? Let me know that in the comments. Are you registered for our webinar that's going down next Thursday, where we're going to be talking about all about services and bookings and how to get the action plan in order to build this out in your business. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, I love it. So there's always a little bit of a delay there, and I always have this sort of awkward silence as I'm waiting for responses. So love the feedback that you guys are saying, and so let me post this in the chat, which is our information about our webinar. And so this webinar, like I mentioned, it's give a special invitation. It is going to be a special by invitation only type of webinar. We're actually going to be doing this on a Zoom call. We will not be running it live inside of the group. And in this, I don't think that this showed inside of our group. So let me post it in the group. Let me post it in chat. There we go, right there. Click on that, simply register. You just need to put your name and your email address, your first name and your last name, and then we'll get you registered for that. It will be a Zoom call. You'll all get the link once you register, and we will actually be spending about an hour and a half really deep diving what it takes to get these types of services implemented into your business. So let me know in comments, are you guys registered, and are these service types services that you feel like you can do or want to do in your business? Let me know in comments. And I'm gonna hang out just for a couple of minutes, and then I'm gonna go lay down. That's what I'm gonna do. So already registered, beautiful, beautiful. That's awesome. Next Thursday, I can't wait to see you, Patty. It's been a minute. How are you doing? Happy New Year. How do you guys feel about the services and the service types that we've got? We talked about today. Yeah, somebody put in comments, lawsuits may be on the uptick now. Yeah, I mean, if you are one of those agencies that don't have E&O insurance, like you absolutely, as an agency, need to have it so that you are fully protected in your business from a risk perspective. Again, just because you don't know doesn't make you not liable, right? Like, just so you want to think of this business, and that's the unfortunate part about this business. I don't know how you guys got wind to become travel professionals. Many of my community members have been recruited into the business, and what they don't tell you is regardless of, it's sort of just like driving a car, right? Just because you may not know doesn't make you still not responsible for knowing, right? Like when you drive a car, like if you don't know the drive, you didn't know, or you forgot this particular law, doesn't make you any less liable or any less responsible. Same thing with the travel business. Just because you're booking with your friends and family, if you really want to scale this business, you gotta work with strangers. And when you work with strangers, even when you work with friends and family, you like I love friends and family, but I don't want to book for them. Like, I don't want them to be my main bread and butter. I want to work with strangers, and as such, I want to be the expert, and I want to command what it takes for my time and money, and my effort. It takes me time, it takes me money, it takes me effort to learn the things that I know. And as a result of that, I need to charge for my services. So just because you don't charge doesn't make you any less liable. I love that saying. Just because you don't charge doesn't make you less liable. So ladies and ladies, I don't think that we have any gents, but if we do catch any gents who watch this in the replay, it was a pleasure working with you all today. I will be coming here next week, and we have our webinar next Thursday. So go ahead and register if you have not already registered. The webinar is free. It's free training. And again, we will be deep diving services and bookings in 22 and how to create an action plan so that we can get those services and bookings increased in the upcoming year. So I look forward to working with you all next week. Have a fabulous rest of your night, and I will talk to you soon.